Welcome to part one of my Happy Healthy Back series. I know from personal experience how brutal low back pain can be. It steals away from the joy of life, it zaps your energy, and it just makes everything feel so much harder. So the purpose of these videos is to help you get some relief from symptoms that you might be feeling right now in the present moment, and then also to progress us into strength and stability exercises that will help your back stay healthy and pain-free in the future. Before we get started, it's important to note that I'm not a doctor. I am a personal trainer. So these are my best practices that I've used on myself and with my clients and have gotten some great results. But with that in mind, if you're dealing with a medical condition or an ongoing pain-related issue, I highly encourage you to get it checked and evaluated by a medical professional before you proceed. So we're going to get started lying on our back. If that's a really challenging position for you to get into on the floor, you can do a lot of these first movements on your bed. So that's an option for you. It's also really important that you know you are in control of this workout. This is for you. So if any of the suggestions of movements that I demonstrate don't work for you, don't do them. You're in charge. Listen to your body. Do what feels right for you in the moment. It might change depending on the day, pains like that. So please know that all of the demonstrations I'll be showing are just suggestions and you can adapt them as needed. So with that being said, let's come down onto our backs. Finding a position that's comfortable. We're going to tune in. So I already mentioned listening to your body. We're going to tune right in. So take your eyes off the screen for now. I'm just going to guide you through this with my voice. Feel free to let your eyes just gently close and start to bring your awareness to your breathing. Notice where you're feeling that expansion in your body from your breath. Is it really up high in your chest? Maybe you can put a hand on your belly and just invite some breath to go a little bit deeper for now. And then we're going to do a nice scan starting with our head. Start to notice where you might be holding tension. How's your jaw, your neck, your shoulders? A lot of the time when we've been experiencing pain in our body, we tense up. We're guarding ourselves against that pain. And we might even feel sort of a sensation like we're white knuckling. So let's just start by letting our jaw go slack. You might even massage that jaw joint. Let your tongue drop off the roof of your mouth. See if you can invite just a little more ease into the shoulders. Just let them drop away from your ears and melt toward the floor. Let your hands open up nice and wide. You might even squeeze your fist and then release a couple times just to allow your hands to let go. And then let's just see if we can find a little bit more ease in our torso. Notice your hips. Are you feeling tight in your hips? Is one hip sitting up higher than the other one? As we do this body scan and throughout this movement practice today, I invite you to just go into it without judgment. We often feel frustrated with our body or even angry with our body when we've been dealing with pain. And this is an invitation. This pain, let's reframe it into an invitation to just care for ourselves and spend time with ourselves, giving us what we need. So as we continue, just scan your legs, your knees, your ankles. You might even squeeze your toes and release the way we did with our fists. And just see if we can find a little bit more ease in our body. And so to begin our movement now, we're going to do what I call lumbar pressing. This series that we're going to begin with is what I affectionately call low back love. So this is what I come back to again and again. And we're just going to inhale and let the low back lift off the floor, and exhale, press your low back down into the floor. This shouldn't feel forced in any way. It might be a teeny tiny movement if you're feeling really stiff and sticky. But just work on this for about 10 to 15 reps, following your breath. Inhaling, that tailbone's going to shift down towards the floor, And then exhaling, peeling your tailbone up. Start to picture those little discs that protect the space between each vertebrae. All those little discs, we're just giving them a little massage, inviting them to take up just a little bit more space. Just giving us that nice, healthy, low spine. This is a great exercise to start your day with. It's a great exercise to start any workout with, or just take a break anytime that you're feeling that stiffness and stickiness in your low back. This is a great one to come to. So now let's give our knees a little hug. Massage that low back by drawing a few little circles in the air. And then we're just going to keep one knee hugged in and extend the other leg long. So now in this position, let's check our shoulders, check our jaw, make sure we haven't gotten all scrunched up. And let's just relax into this stretch. So it might feel good to pull your shin in a little closer. Notice if your breathing has gotten a little more shallow again. As you hold this stretch, let's just take that breathing a little deeper again. And you might experiment with pressing your opposite heel away from you. So just exhaling out, letting go of any tension that's there. And then let's bring your knees together again to meet and repeat that on the other side. So again, just notice your shoulders, notice your breath, and then maybe press that heel a little farther away. And, you know, depending on what you're feeling in your body today, you might want to spend a little bit more or less time in any of these exercises. But if you're ready to move on, let's put our knees parallel, or our knees, hips, and toes all parallel, bent knee position. I'm going to keep my left leg stationary. I'm going to keep my ribs just in neutral, so we want to make sure we're not opening up and popping the ribs out. And I'm going to start to let this other knee just kind of open up to the side and come back to center. So we're working on getting some hip mobility now. Opening up that hip. Maybe we've got some tightness on that inner thigh and groin that might be contributing to pain. So we're just kind of exploring the stretch and the mobility aspect. And then this is also starting to get just a little bit of light core engagement. So you want to make sure that you're not wobbling your torso from side to side. Keep this leg where it is and use just your low belly core strength to stabilize yourself. Let's repeat all those on the other side. So I'm doing about 8 to 10 here for each side. We know that core strength is going to be imperative to having a healthy, happy back. So that's something that we're going to start to work on a lot in this video series. Mobility and stability. That's what it's all about. So we're getting a little bit of both in this exercise. So I'm just going to do a couple more. And then if it feels good to you to hug the knees in again, just relieving any stress in the low back, go ahead and do that. And then we'll return to our bent knee position. So continuing on in our exploration of core stability, let's take an exhale now. I want to really check the ribs. Make sure that we're feeling a little bit braced. So it's not like really hard, but we want to feel like, okay, like the core is turned on. And then we're going to start to march one leg at a time. And this might be a little bit stressful on your low back if you're dealing with a very acute situation. So feel free to make this really small. But I do want you to work a little bit awkwardly slow. So with a lot of momentum, I want you to be mindful of the entire movement, the journey up and the journey down. And this might feel pretty basic, but again, let's let this be a moving meditation. Let's let this be a tuning in process. It is so surprising when we allow ourselves to really slow down what we notice in our body. And if you catch yourself holding your breath or guarding against pain, just take a moment to take a breath, put a smile on your face. That smile sends a signal to the brain that you're safe, that we don't have to be worried about pain, that we can relax and really go into these exercises. So let's take one more little low back massage, and then we're going to move into a figure 4 stretch. So try to keep your ankle nice and straight. We don't want to like flex the foot in.
So let's try to keep the ankle nice and straight. And we're just going to hug that bottom leg knee in and then release it and let it go. So again, you can kind of follow what feels good to you. I actually really love doing this little oscillating movement here. Kind of, again, getting into that low back massage like we've been doing when we hug our knees in. This just feels really nice for me personally. So give that a try. You'll notice, let's switch to the other side. You'll notice on the leg that's crossed on top, you're getting a nice deep stretch in the outer hip. So that's always a good place to release any tension and stress when we know we want to feel really good in our body. So again, in and out, or making those little circles. And then to complete our little low back love series, plant both feet nice and even, and we'll just windshield wiper side to side. Little hip twist. This one is so nice. No judgment if your body makes a slightly different shape than mine, or if from one day to the next this feels different for you. I actually love using these movements as a self-assessment tool because they are the kind of thing you can come back to day after day. You can do these every day and really check in with yourself and notice what you're feeling, and it'll show you kind of where you need to spend a little bit more time taking care of yourself. So those are our low back love movements. We're going to continue on restoring our range of motion by coming to hands and knees. Let's go into a cat-cow movement. So stacking your shoulders right over your hands. This is probably something you've done before. So again, it's a great self-assessment. I sometimes get like a little catching in places and a little stickiness in places, and I just need to work through these and allow just a little bit more alignment, a little bit more space. So I want you again to think about those little discs between your vertebrae and think about how you can curl one vertebrae at a time. And as you finish these up, we're going to do about 5 or 6 all together. You might even just take a little side wiggle. Find what feels good here. And then let's come back to our stacked position. This one, I'm going to invite you to experiment with tucking the toes under or leaving the tops of the feet on the floor. But we're going to go ahead and just slide the hips back. So unlike the cat-cow exercise, we want to keep our spine neutral here and just practice shifting back into this deep hip flexion. With the toes tucked, you'll notice more of a stretch on the bottom of your feet, which might feel really good. You know, even though pain shows up usually in one area of the body, and the low back is just so common, it's often related to tension that's elsewhere in the body. So we might have like really tight areas that are just causing an imbalance of tension, and that can really contribute to pain. So now let's hold at the bottom of this movement. I like doing this bit with my toes tucked, and we're going to do our cat-cow again. This time it's more localized to that low back space. So think about curling the tailbone under, tucking your chin, and then pressing your tailbone back and away, looking up. Again, bring your attention to your breath. If you catch yourself holding your breath, just take a pause, slow it down, shake it out, and then reset your breath. So again, 5 or 6 of these is usually great. Okay, and then we're going to go into an adductor stretch. So that's the inner thigh. We're going to extend one leg out to the side. So it looks a lot like that hip shift that we just did, but now we've got this leg out to the side. And this is one, again, I welcome you to explore what you're doing with your foot. So you can come up onto your heel, let your toes come up, or you can plant the whole inner edge of your foot. You can even focus on pressing that outer edge of your foot down into the floor and just see what you get from this. And then we're going to hold at the top. I want you to take the arm that is the same side as your extended leg. We're going to reach up towards the sky and then thread the needle under. So we're opening up some space in the upper body.
You know, when we feel pain too, I just mentioned it's often related to stress and tension in other areas of the body. Let's go to the other side. I'll continue my thought in a second, but I'm going to show the front view now, just for the sake of getting that view. So I'm going to just start again here, stacking my hands under my shoulders, shifting back, exploring. So yeah, if we're feeling pain in a specific spot, I always suggest kind of addressing the areas above and below that area, because you might really be dealing with some tension imbalances or some issues that are in the areas above and below. So that's why we want to go ahead and release the upper back and the shoulders and the hips. These areas, our hips and shoulders, are meant to be our most mobile joints in the body. But sometimes they get really sticky and locked up, and then that can actually cause our body to try to compensate for that lack of mobility by asking another area of the body to move in a way it's not meant to do it. So that can cause some problems too. Okay, let's come all the way to our belly. This one I actually hadn't had planned. I'm throwing it in as a bonus because I just think it sounds really good right now. So watch me first, and then you're going to take your eyes off your screen. I want you to put your forehead on the back of your hands, make a little pillow, bend your knees, and then just let your heels drop. Left and right, like little windshield wipers. So go ahead and try that now. Take a few. I often get a little adjustment in my low back when I do this one. If you do or don't, again, no judgment. As long as there's no pain with those little clicks and pops, that's not really an issue to worry about. And when you're done with that one, then just let your legs rest long. Make sure your hips are feeling nice and even. And if it feels good for your body today to do a little cobra, you can press into your hands. Just start to lift your heart up off the floor. Squeeze your glutes gently. Go to the degree that feels good for you. If this feels really good for you, you can press all the way up into an upward dog. So squeezing the glutes, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, staying really nice and lifted through your neck. And then go ahead and plant your knees. Let's find a child's pose, little counter stretch to that. So depending on how you're feeling in your body today, that might be enough for you. You're welcome to pause here. You're welcome to back this up and repeat any of that. But if you're feeling good and you're ready to add a little bit of strength and stability work to your day, let's continue on. We're going to go onto our back again and start with some glute bridging. Most of these exercises are probably very familiar to you, but they're just tried and true and very effective. So we're going to, again, make sure your knees, hips, and toes are all in line. Shoulders are relaxed. I want you to have even pressure into both feet as you press into the floor and squeeze your glutes. So following your breath, exhale, press. Inhale, lower. If it feels good to you to add a little spinal articulation, you can think about setting one vertebrae at a time down on the floor. Finally ending with your tailbone and then lifting the tailbone up and peeling one vertebrae at a time off the floor. So since we're really focused on having a happy, healthy back, this is a way we can just sort of tune into that. But I also want you thinking about building some heat in the glutes and hamstrings. Strong glutes are going to help support a healthy low back. So let's do about 10 of everything today. I'm terrible at talking and counting, so I'm going by feel. I think this will be my last one for right now. So 10 of those. Again, feel free to take a little stretch. And then we're going to come back to that core activation exercise, our marching. So I want you to exhale, keep your ribs nice and tight, and we'll march our legs like so. If this feels like a good challenge for you, you're really feeling your core engage, then stay with this. If you're like, well, I feel it, but I feel like I could do more, then let's start with the legs floating up off the ground and tap down. Just make sure this isn't causing a lot of stress and strain in your low back, okay? If it is, you can experiment with sort of propping up your hips. I'll just use my hands for now. You can use a rolled up towel. You can use a rolled up yoga mat, or you can even tuck a foam roller under your hips if that's something that helps give your low back a little bit of relief. I do that a lot actually with my foam roller. But yeah, we're just doing about 8 to 10 on each side here. Again, focusing on building that strength and stability in the core and torso. Okay. So again, you're going to notice a pattern. We're returning to a lot of similar things that we've done before. We're going to come back to our figure 4 hip stretch, making sure we have a strong ankle. I want you to now apply a little bit of pressure into yourself. So we're kind of fighting, like I'm trying to push down with this leg and I'm trying to push up with the other leg, and they're fighting against each other. Okay? Ribs stay tight. We're going to tap a toe down and come back up. Tap down and come back up. So this is definitely a more intense core challenge than the last exercise. Depending on how much pressure you're applying, it'll be harder or easier, okay? So have fun experimenting with this one. Woo! I'm also getting quite the burn in my quad. So enjoy that. All right, I'm going to switch to the other side. So resetting, notice if you've, accumulated any tension in the hips. Make sure you're feeling nice and even. Set yourself up here, apply that pressure, and then you're going down and coming back up. It's amazing what you can accomplish with body weight alone, right? But notice your shoulders, notice your jaw. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's worth it to just continually check in with yourself. We often just don't notice when we're kind of getting that tension build up. So we want to keep that away. Okay, I think I'm about even, hopefully. Yeah, that one I was starting to feel the burn for sure. Okay, transitioning back onto hands and knees. We're going to do our bird dog exercise. This is, again, it's classic, probably done it a million times, but we really want to focus in on that low back health here. So start with your tabletop position. I want you to exhale hard, pull your rib cage up. Now, I want you to imagine you've got a laser light beam coming out of your belly button, and that is making a little dot of light right underneath your torso. Don't let that dot of light move through the whole exercise, okay? We're going to go slow. It's going to be weird. It's going to be different than you've probably done before. So let's start by kicking one leg out and hold it. Notice my toes are flexed. I'm squeezing my glute. Now my opposite arm is going to reach. Take a breath. And then switch. Same thing. So we're going to start nice and slow. Kick that leg out. Make sure that imaginary light beam's not moving. Reach your opposite arm out. Take a breath. And place your hand and leg back down with control. If you're ready, you can start to sync up, reaching your arm and leg together. I want you to hold for a full breath cycle. And exhale. We're going to let's just do 6 on each side since we're moving nice and slow. One thing too, as we move through these, that I just wanted to mention is that obviously when we're working on managing pain, the last thing we want to do is cause additional strain or injury on our body. So I'm making a lot of cues about form and breathing. But again, it's so important to listen to your body. If you start to notice that you're getting really fatigued, please take a break. Fatigue often leads to form getting a little bit messy. And while these exercises are certainly not complicated, it's important that they're done correctly and that you'll get the best benefits when they are. So let's do one more for each side. Really squeeze your glute as you extend that leg out. Last one, nice and easy, squeeze your glute. And then let's take a little counter stretch. Okay. Are you ready to do some planking with me? Starting out, let's just come back to the tabletop and then just walk your knees back about 6 to 8 inches and then drop your hips so that your shoulders come right over the hands, okay? This is your plank on your knees. You can start here and then tap your opposite shoulders. So we're adding a little bit of a stability challenge to this. The more advanced version, of course, would be to come onto your toes for a full plank. So whichever one is serving you in the moment, if you feel really good in your high plank, stay with this. There's no shame, no judgment in being here too. Take care of your body. And last one. Okay, your choice, child's pose, or if you're liking that more upper body challenge, you can come into a downward dog here and just maybe even bending one knee and the other knee, loosening up your hips. And then let's come on down. So again, depending on where you are in your journey right now, this might feel like enough. And you're welcome to actually repeat that series 2 to 3 times. I would recommend for strength and stability exercises 2 to 3 sets, okay? So we're going to continue together doing one more set where I'm going to demonstrate some slightly more advanced options so that you can progress this, whether that's today or the next time when you return to this video and you're ready to take it to that next level. So let's come back onto our back. We're going to go back to our glute bridge. So reminder, level 1 is here, pressing through both feet. Our level 2 progression is going to be pressing through both feet, lifting one leg off the floor and lowering with control on one leg. So back to 2 feet, other leg comes up and lower back down. Again, notice the control. We're being so kind to our body. You might even imagine you've got something like an egg or something underneath you that you're like, okay, I have to come down so gently and carefully so that I don't break that. Yeah. So being gentle, it's not just about being gentle on your back, although that is a focus today, but moving that slowly and with that much control really maximizes the potential of the exercise. So we get more benefits from the exercise by working on it nice and slowly and with lots of control. So 6 to 10 on each side is plenty. I think I'm going to be getting into that zone, maybe 6 to 8 here pretty soon. And hopefully you're feeling the backs of your legs and glutes. Notice if your shoulders are staying relaxed. Notice if you can smile a little bit. And just enjoy that feeling of like developing heat in your body and noticing what that feels like today. Okay, so we're going back to that march. Notice I'm doing a little low back massage in between each exercise. So we were exploring this one earlier, keeping the ribs tight. Low back is engaged with the floor. You can be here. You can also try, this is sort of like that knee fall out. We can try this one where we let one leg drop out open to the side and then return back to center without letting this other leg move. So you'll just notice this challenges a lot of those same muscles but in a different way, and it's just asking your hip to work in a different range of motion. So lots of good fun options that we can try. And I'm just going to do a couple more. Again, 8 to 10 each. All right, other side. I like to focus on the inhale on my way down and then exhale. That exhale really helps re-engage and just kind of harness that strength of your core. So inhaling and exhaling. You know, this is not the kind of workout that gets us all sweaty and like heart rate through the roof and all that. And that's really okay. We don't need every workout to be like that. And especially if you are sort of managing some pain symptoms or anything like that, it's actually really important that you give yourself a break from some of those workouts and do something that's going to be really productive to help you get back to that stage where maybe then you're ready for more activity.
But right now, it's just not that moment. This is a fantastic movement practice to do. Okay, we're going back to our figure 4. And remember that sensation of kind of pressing in yourself. I'm pointing my toe on my top leg this time, and I'm going to rock open towards the side. Maybe my toe touches the floor, and then I use my core to get back to center. So I love this one because it feels like a stretch right here. I'm getting a really nice deep stretch, and then using strength to come back up. Notice I have my arms out wide for balance so I don't just like roll over. Now, you can assess for yourself, like if you want to help yourself out, you can kind of push down into the floor and that will help you return to center. Or if you want to keep those arms really light, then that puts more of it into your core. I'm going to switch to the other side now. Of course, I have no idea how many reps I did, but that's okay. We're getting it. So taking that twist, and one side is always tighter for me. So if that's the case for you, that's okay. Again, this is a no judgment zone. We are just like giving our body lots of love today. But this one just feels like you're kind of wringing out your torso. I love it. So inhale on the way down. Exhale as you return to center. You're doing great. You just have a couple more exercises to do. Oh yeah. Okay. Give those knees a little hug. We're coming back up for our bird dogs. And, oops, I'm losing my clip. There we go. Okay. So this time, let's stay on one side at a time. So we've got that tabletop position, our imaginary laser light beam coming down. Let's kick one leg out. Opposite arm is going to kick out. This time, let's see if we can connect or reach our elbow towards our knee and then stay on that same side for 8 reps in a row. So as you reach, squeeze that glute on the back leg. Keep your neck nice and long. Stay lifted through your shoulder. Keep that light beam focused on that one spot on the floor. Oh yeah. Nice. Okay, other side. So again, I like to start with that leg and then reach the arm out. Hug it in and then reach it out. You got this. Big exhales and inhales. Again, I'm working at what probably feels like just a slightly awkwardly slow pace. That's by design. We want to avoid momentum. Let our body really do the work. Let's see. I'm going to go for 2 more. If you're counting, forgive me for always getting that counting wrong. Okay, we played with this last time. We've got that plank option now to do. So your choice, you can go planking on your knees. You can tap shoulders here, or you can go to a full plank. You can explore just holding that full plank or add the shoulder tap. But let's get into it. Whatever plank challenge you choose, let's go. We're doing about 6 taps for each shoulder if you're doing the taps, or going for like a 20 to 30 second challenge. Oh yeah, so good. And I know I'm rocking a little bit side to side because I'm trying to look up at the camera, but woo, okay. Let's take that nice child's pose again. I've got one final stretch challenge for us. So if you're game, we can go into a downward dog. If you're familiar with yoga, you probably know the pigeon stretch. So you're bringing one knee forward and settling your body down into this deep stretch for your hip. This is the same muscle group as this. So if the one I was just showing doesn't feel good, come into this position for me. But if you're enjoying pigeon, you can join me here. Now, if you're here, press into your palms, lift your heart,
Notice again, are we getting any tension in our neck and shoulders? Can we just release a little bit of that? Can we invite this hip to open up a little bit more? And can we maybe bring our chest down and just notice the shifts we feel in our body? Okay, so now come with me up. We're going back to downward dog, and then we'll repeat that on the other side. So I know after doing this routine with you, I feel a little bit more energized. I feel a little bit of heat in my muscles. I feel a lot more stretched out. So take a moment to just celebrate any shifts that you feel, any positive vibes that you feel after completing this workout. Again, maybe we can bring our chest a little closer to the floor, and then maybe pressing the floor away. Just taking your final breaths. And then again, bring that leg in a little closer, tuck the toes. I like to roll through a downward dog and then find the floor. Find a child's pose. Breathe into your back body. And let it go. So thank you for joining me. That was our first adventure in our Happy Healthy Back series. And I hope you'll stick with me and join me again for the second, third, and fourth installment. Again, we'll be working a little bit more on building more stability as we go. So you can look forward to a little bit more focus on strength as we go along, but we will continue also with that mobility practice. So I hope this left you feeling a little bit of relief in your back, a lot more free in your body, and just ready to take on your day.